this old fogey. Me, not that I'm such an old fogey, but it reminds me of Johnny Carson. Johnny Carson on Thanksgiving said, he said, Thanksgiving is the holiday that everybody drives hundreds and hundreds of miles to get to have a family dinner, just to realize after the dinner why they live hundreds and hundreds of miles away. Oh, God. Well, you know what they said with good news, that we have to make it sexy, we have to make it fun, we have to make it, because even though it's, we know, more important for somebody to walk, an older woman, across the street, okay, more important maybe than, you know, many things in this world, because you are helping another human, you're helping somebody that needs the help, and so on and so forth, but will people want to watch that? You know, there's some of the positive things in life. Will they care about that enough to watch it? Okay.
I think so. You know, somebody with your mission, with what you're trying to do with your organization, I think you should feel good about where the younger generations, so what I call social consumers, are going. Because for the first time, we're seeing a really willingness to put your money where your mouth is in that generation. So if you look at my generation, the big question for my generation was, will we spend our money to support more environmentally friendly products? And I have to say with great shame that the majority of folks have answered that question no. They will not spend more money on something that's more environmentally friendly unless it sits side by side with another product that it's the same price. Then they'll choose the more environmentally friendly, but they won't put out more money. Younger generations are now showing very clearly that they will support brands that have good missions, brands that support equality or solve local homelessness or equal pay for equal work, and all of these other causes that used to be just altruistic in nature. Now consumers are only willing to support brands over the long term if they have those good messages, and that's where it gets really interesting and powerful to me and can do good on a very broad scale, because it allows us to change market dynamics, right? It allows us to force companies to operate in a more, what I would call, ethical manner, because they can earn more profit that way. It's unfortunate that maybe we have to go that route, but companies need to realize that loyalty, which generates the highest customer lifetime value, right? The ultimate measure of performance, customer lifetime value. A good ethical stance, well communicated and consistently lived up to, will earn you loyalty over the long term with consumers. More money in the corporate pockets and a better world for the rest of us.
We just covered the Ethosphere. It's called Global Summit on that being an ethical company, and you had, you know, hundreds of CEOs and compliance officers, and you know, corporate America definitely does great things and needs more people to know about that and see that side of them. A lot of times, in the old days, you know, it's unique, and I mean, like Johnson & Johnson's always been a good socially responsible corporation. I know you're from New Jersey, and been a supporter of good news for years. They're on good news, and so. But I go way back to the time when they were quite humble in that regard, and many people were humble, you know, anonymous even. You know, we do, you know, $800 million worth of do good, and we don't tell anybody practically. You know, today's day and age, you know, it seems like, you know, some companies will tell you and let that be known.
Yeah.
Because it's more competitive.
Well, I don't know that I know the answer to that question, and there's nothing wrong with doing good and being quiet about it, but I know the mechanics of business, right? And at the end of the day, the purpose of the firm is to generate profit. So if they believe they can do good and make more money as a result of it, you will get a more mainstream movement to do good. And if it has to come as a byproduct of the desire to earn more profit, I'm okay with that. It helps more people.
I am too.
But you know, it would be good to see companies step up a little bit more and talk about the good things that they do, because that would push this movement ahead much more quickly, and it would allow consumers to know who's doing good and who isn't. It doesn't have to focus on bashing those who do bad. It can focus on those who do good and be a little bit more of a positive message, and consumers will come there as a byproduct of hearing about it.
The last thing, and I appreciate all of this, and I'd love to interview and speak with you again. I'm going to use I think we went over a little bit of the big, we went and talked about social. Now this mobile thing is quite interesting to me because I am under the belief, and we're very involved with achieving world peace, and I believe that the mobile phone now, with the amount of that are in effect and in use worldwide, can change the world, and will change the world, and will bring peace to the earth. Okay, that's my. I'm putting my money on that.
Well, it is the vehicle that could do that more effectively than any other. And today, social and mobile are really synonymous because social media is delivered more consistently via mobile than it is via hard device these days. So the great thing about mobile, which is still in its infancy and really hasn't been exploited very well by companies, is that 10 years ago when social media started to rise, what happened is consumers kind of left the real world and went into this digital world and lived online. And for companies, they were separate. A company could not attach a digital profile to a person's physical profile and therefore understand them across both the physical and digital. It was very challenging. But what the mobile device has done is it put that consumer back in the real world where you can actually interact with them. Even if you're a company that exists solely on the internet, humans are still triggered by those things around them, right? So you can understand somebody's emotional state or where they're at or what they're influenced by much better and more effectively if you know where they're at in the physical world. The mobile device goes with them everywhere, right? There's studies that show the heavy anxiety people feel when they're separated from their smartphone, right? A good percentage of the population wakes up in the middle of the night to check their smartphone. So that's a great thing for companies because you always know where they're at now. You can interact with them as a person again via both the digital and physical mediums, and understand who they are because their device is unique, right? A unique device connects to a unique person, and as far as its ability to do good, you have parts of the world now that have access to the internet and the information that's empowering people and consumers via smartphones where the infrastructure to get there via an internet or a hard device doesn't exist, right? So we've really allowed less developing areas to leapfrog into today's current state of advanced technology, skipping all the need to build expensive infrastructure. So
that's great. Yeah, it's great.
It's
Africa,
very
I think, has
powerful.
600 million phones being used in Africa. A lot of good news here. Two last quick questions. Thank you once again. What's good news for you, David?
I love the work I do. I love this subject. I love the way it has a bigger purpose of helping things and maybe changing some of what I believe are the negative influence of market dynamics. But I think what's more rewarding to me is using this for those organizations that I work with that have good causes and good missions that are not-for-profits to help them leverage this type of technology to do good in their own way. So for me, I try to balance the work that I do with companies and corporations to help them earn more money with the organizations that I'm more tied to personally, whether it's the cause of spina bifida or Riding with Heart, which uses equestrian sports to assist those with disabilities. Those are things that I care about, that I'm passionate about. So it's rewarding for me to be able to apply the same things I do in my professional life over to organizations with a good mission, and that's how I give back.
Good man. Last question, because we're involved with this World Peace Movement, September 21st, and hopefully every day to then and every day after then. What's peace for you?
I think I look at things on a very small scale. For me, peace is peace with those around me, because that's what influences me emotionally, perhaps more than anything else. Those that I care about, seeing them as good people and doing good things and being associated with people who are doing good things, those are the things that let me sleep better at night. And to be honest, I think I had to kind of grow into that, that belief that living a good life each day does amount to something, doing the right thing by choice can add up to things. So that's what works for me, just putting my head on the pillow at the end of the day and having done a good thing for those around me.
You're a good man. All right, here's the book. Here's David's book, Big Social Mobile, How Digital Initiatives Can Reshape the Enterprise and Drive Business Results. You will make more money if you get this book. That's all I can say. And you're going to be happier doing it. All right, David.
Thank
thanks
you.
so
It's a
much.
real pleasure
Thank
meeting
you.
you.
Real pleasure
Thank you.
meeting with you.